Alright guys, so it has been about a month since Mortal Kombat 1 came out, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the game. Like, I've played it properly now. As you guys can see on the channel, I use Shao Kahn. I dropped Baraka because he's honestly the most stupid character I've ever played in my life. And even though it's much easier to get wins with him, it was just no fun. I was using Baraka and Striker before because I just couldn't bring myself to use Cyrax because I'm not that much of a scumbag. But I want to talk a little bit about the game now. Now that I'm playing Shao Kahn, now that I've played it for a little bit more. At the time of this recording, now this is going to be completely unedited, but at the time of this recording, I'm sitting on the way to Elder God. Who knows? By the time I've put the recording, I could have been demoted again or whatever. So by the time of recording this, I'm at God rank, so I've played it a fair amount. Not easy getting to God rank with Shao Kahn, let me tell you, of all the BS in this game. Not to say he doesn't have his own BS, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I want to talk about the gameplay because we've already spoken about the story, which was a bit of a disappointment after Chapter 10, and Invasions mode, which is honestly one of the most dogshit modes I've ever seen in my life. And just all around bare bones for this Mortal Kombat release, which is unlike Mortal Kombat. So I want to talk a little bit more about the gameplay now that I have more time with the game. I can give you my honest opinion. Now, I'm going to say this before you continue listening to what I'm saying whilst you're watching the gameplay in the background. I do not get anything from NRS. NRS have only ever invited me to one thing, and that was for Injustice. I don't have any friends over there. I don't have anyone in the community that I'm particularly like going to shield this game for. I'm not bought off by anybody, so let's talk about the gameplay. So, to start, Mortal Kombat 1's gameplay is, the best way to describe it is that it's very frustrating. It feels like NRS didn't really take time to balance the game, which I'm not surprised with, to be honest with you, because it was pushed out very quickly. We heard that leaked phone call where they were like, they're going to be aggressively pursuing marketing or some bullshit like that. The game feels very, very rushed. It actually feels very rushed. It is not as frustrating as Mortal Kombat 11, but that's not saying much because that game is dog shit as well. So, if we're talking about brain-dead characters, we got to start with Baraka. As I mentioned earlier, I don't know who greenlit this. Clearly, they didn't test their game before they released it. Baraka is just pick up, play, and win. You can go straight to Elder God with relative ease with Baraka. I'm not even kidding you. Baraka is so stupidly easy to use and does so much absurd damage for basically no effort. And I'm not just talking about damage when he hits you. I'm talking about when he's chipping you. You eat a whole bunch of fuckery when you're fighting against Baraka. We're going to get into the cameos a little bit because I know people are going to probably want to hear what I have to say about Cyrax, although it's not going to take a wizard to guess what I'm going to say. But Baraka's not the only stupid character in this game. Pretty much, it's just stupidity across the board. Now, I know people are saying that every character is good in this game, and to a degree that is true. It's just some characters are way too good and way too stupid and have way too much going on. So I'll give you an example. Kenshi is he's a decent character without Sento. Like, he's nothing special. When Sento is out, all bets are off. Sento is so ridiculous that you are just caught in mix-up upon chip damage upon chip damage upon stagger until eventually he breaks your guard, because he will. And then you eat like 40%, and Sento's still there for some reason. I don't know why. It's really, really irritating. You've got characters like Melina. You know, she's being overlooked a little bit, but she's very, very dumb. You know, the problem with this game is there's no point in really singling out characters. The problem is that NRS does not know how to implement strings properly. NRS games have similar strings to, say, Tekken, for example, like 3-4 hit strings. Except in Tekken understands that if you commit to the entire string, 9 times out of 10 it's unsafe, right? If you do half the string, you're kind of staggering it, although the stagger game in Tekken is done in a much more fair way than it is in Mortal Kombat. In Mortal Kombat, you complete a whole string and you're safe. And what happens is you get caught in this situation where there's a lot of turn stealing going on. And that creates a very frustrating playing environment. Now, I'm not saying that from a point of saltiness, because as you guys can see on the channel, I'm not doing too shabby, okay? I'm saying that objectively. It is frustrating. It's frustrating as someone that has that plays Shao Kahn, where if you drop his axe, he has strings where, you know, if he starts hitting you with them and he completes them, he's like, it's still his turn, down 1. It's my turn again, take my mix up. It's just a bit like NRS players don't really train, NRS developers, the developers at NRS don't really train their players or create a game where the players have to use their heads. It's like here's any stupid thing that you want to do it. There's not going to be many consequences for it. And if there are consequences for it, you're going to have to armor through it, which means you're going to have to use a resource that you would otherwise use to break her. So when the other idiot on the other side of the screen wakes up and realizes that you ain't got breaker, he's going to spam the same shit on you again. And you could use armor again, but then you're putting yourself in even more of a shit situation. Because it's a shared resource, you have to be conscious of the fact that, yeah, I could armor through this, I could very easily get beaten out as well. And once I do that, I can't break her. And combos in this game are doing 30 to 40% across the board, 50 if you're unfortunate enough to fight Baraka and Cyrax. So there's strings, the strings don't make sense to me. If you've got a 4-hit string and it ends with a combo extender, for example, Shang Tsung, right? Why would you make it so difficult to punish him right at the end of it? I don't think that cameos, I'm gonna delve into cameos a little bit. I don't think cameos should cover people doing stupid shit. I don't mind them being combo extenders. I don't mind them being used in the neutral. But like Baraka, for example, he will jump in the air and then do that spinning thing to get across the stage and then call Cyrax, and you have to block it. You have to block it because the problem is that he can do it low enough to the ground where you can't just duck so that you avoid Cyrax. You have to block him and then you end up blocking Cyrax as well. Now I know I'm going to get some dumbo in the comment section going, oh, just flawless block. Flawless block is a stupid mechanic. It is lopsided. You have to be so accurate whilst your opponent is doing some unga bunga bullshit across the screen. And you know that's the case. Flawless block is a shit mechanic. It poorly complements the defensive side of this game. Very, very poorly. You would have thought after MK11 they would have reworked it. But this is some lazy shit. This game is not that much of a different game compared to MK11. Like, it's its own game, but not really. Especially, let me just side note this, especially because it's called Mortal Kombat 1, yet it ended up bringing in the characters from the other universe and they just continued the story. It wasn't even a clean slate. We did this whole multiverse thing. Why didn't you just call it Mortal Kombat 12? It was not a clean slate. You brought in the previous story. You just continued it into this one. Anyway, that shit pissed me off. That whole multiverse stuff, weak. I was looking for a self-contained story. After chapter 10, it was one big L after the other. Everyone's just trying to capitalize on that Marvel money, and it's not working. People are sick of it. People were laughing at this story by the end of it so much that I couldn't even blame them. And a part of me wants to defend NRS because I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, but I can't. It's just dumb. Enough of this multiverse of madness bullshit. Just anyway, back to the gameplay. So the strings are a problem, right? And then on top of that, this game is a staggerfest. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just think back to when you fought Johnny Cage, right? Now, yeah, you can armor through stuff, but again, you're using a resource that you would otherwise use to break out of things. But Johnny Cage can do a string and be safe at the end of it. And at the end of that string, you'll have a launcher on it. Now, launchers are typically high risk, high reward. But in NRS games, because the dummies over there don't understand how to balance a fighting game, they will have Johnny Cage do a 3-hit string and end in an overhead launcher that will carry you across the screen for probably 30 to 40%, maybe 50 if he's got the right cameo. But not only that, he can go for a low and then cancel it into a Shoryuken or the Dragon Punch or whatever that is, and then get a combo from it. And then even if you guess right, because they're more than likely going to be using a cameo to cover that, they can call a cameo in to cover that, and if you try to punish it, you will get punished. There are very few situations where you'll find yourself in a situation where I'm like, okay, this is my opening. You're left with no opening, and you're there eating chip damage. By the way, everything does chip in this game, which is a shit feature. There's no way to recover health, and there's no way to mitigate it either. They've got this last breath nonsense, but it's just a load of shit when you've got Baraka there vomiting all over your character. Last breath gets destroyed in a second. Anyway, back to the risk reward thing. NRS doesn't understand what risk reward is. They're just like, this looks cool, let's put that in the game. No balance. Now, it would be fine if this was just a party game, and to be honest with you, I at this point I consider it a very gory party game. This is not a serious fighting game. This is not in the same breath as Street Fighter, Tekken, King of Fighters, or even Virtua Fighter. Mortal Kombat is a bit of dumb fun. Now, that's not me saying that you can't get better at the game. That's not me saying that there's not the Sonic Foxes of the world. Of course. I mean, I hit God rank. I'm heading to Elder God. There's an upper echelon of players. They're definitely much harder to beat. But the game is ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculously stupid. And you kind of just have to switch your brain off and accept it for what it is. And don't think about it too much. Because the minute you start thinking about it and going, why the hell is that going on? You're going to start getting pissed off. Which is where I am at right now. Now, luckily for me, at the point of recording this, the Tekken beta is live. So my ass is going to be on there for the foreseeable future, or until it shuts down. And then I'm just basically going to be counting down the days till a real fighting game comes out. Anyway, I want to touch on projectiles, because I've had this gripe with NRS games for a long time now. Now, when I saw this game initially, I saw Sub-Zero first, and I saw him shoot out an ice clone. And that ice clone traded with other projectiles, and I was like, oh, are they trading projectiles now? Okay, so we can have some actual fireball walls where the faster projectile, the stronger projectile is not constantly winning. Where I have to jump over shit and have to deal with Shang Tsung's 3 skulls. Oh, maybe they've actually switched on their brains for a second. But no, they decided for whatever reason to just give it to Sub-Zero. I couldn't tell you why. Why would you not want a fireball wall, like a legitimate fireball wall in your game, NRS? What is your fascination with having projectiles pass through each other? Where else do you see that shit? And before someone says, well, Mortal Kombat's its own thing, this is its identity, this is a competitive fighting game. That is ridiculous. That is nonsense. Think about all of the fireball wars that you could have if they just implemented the ability for fireballs to have properties where they clash. And that's not to say some fireballs won't blast through other ones. Of course, no problem. But add some nuance to it. But shit's just flying through each other. But for whatever reason, Sub-Zero got one. Don't really understand that, to be honest with you. I would love to ask them I'd love to understand their logic behind that one. The projectile situation in Mortal Kombat has always been a problem for me, and it probably always will be. My dumbass bought the collector's edition thinking, yeah, do you know what? There's no way that NRS did not learn their lessons from MK11. And here I am. Now, granted, the Liu Kang figurine's pretty cool, so whatever, I won't worry about it too much. But this might be, unless they do another figurine, this might be the last time that I give them my money to that extent. I might just look to buy it second hand for MK2 if they decide to bring that out. I'm probably capping. I'll probably get hype and get sucked into the bullshit again and then get disappointed. Anyway, now throws are not as bad as they were in MK11. In MK11, throws were an absolute fucking disaster. Absolute fucking disaster. Escape failed was a nightmare. But throws are not without their problems in this. Now, I don't know where I sit on the fence of throws being extended by cameos. I don't really know where I sit on that. I think if you're going to have something like that, I think the damage should be nerfed a little bit more. Eating 25% for a throw because of Cyrax seems a little bit excessive. But I don't really know where I sit on that, so I'm not going to give an opinion. My problem with the throws is that this is a 2D fighting game, much like Street Fighter. Except in Street Fighter, if someone goes for a throw, it's a one button tech, right? So you see the throw, you one button tech. Not in NRS, no. Because you roll the dice with enough things in NRS, they didn't have enough doing that. Not enough times do you roll the dice during the match, so they have to do it in the throw game as well. So if someone goes to throw you, you just have to guess where they're throwing you. You just guess. There's no visual indicator whatsoever. It's not like Tekken where there's multiple throws and there's multiple things here and there. I know someone's going to bring up King. King is one character, okay? And not to say it's a good thing either, but King is one character. Tekken's got a very robust and well thought out throw system for the most part. In NRS games, for whatever reason, I don't think this was the case for Injustice actually. I think Injustice actually got it right, which blows my mind even more, but anyway. For whatever reason, you guess where you're going to be thrown. I just don't get it. Why not just do one button text? Why am I guessing for my life? Imagine coming down, it's a tournament, right? The tournament's coming to an end, either. And you get beaten by a throw because you don't know which arm they're grabbing you with, because there's no visual indicators in NRS games. And before you say, oh, you can duck the throw, whoop de fucking doodah. Who gives a shit? That doesn't change anything. Anyway, I've spoken about throws in NRS games for years now. I don't know why I keep on thinking they're going to switch their brains on and change them. Let's go to the balancing of the game, because I keep on hearing this from people. Oh, everybody's good in the game. Everybody is viable. There are clearly God's favourites, okay? Let's not be dumb. Baraka is ridiculous. Johnny Cage is dumb. And there are a couple characters in this game that people are sleeping on. For example, Melina is very strong. Kenshi, when Sento comes out, is absolutely just joke-worthy. And then you get to the... Oh no, I almost forgot fucking Ashura. What a joke of a character. Her wake-up is ridiculous. But then you get to the bottom end of the tier list. Well, I think, and I'm not just saying this because I'm downplaying, because I do think Shao Kahn is pretty cool. But Shao Kahn and Sub-Zero. And who else? Am I forgetting anyone else? Who's not great in this game? Well, Sub-Zero and Shao Kahn come to mind straight away. And maybe Reptile, I don't know. But it definitely feels like NRS had their favourites. And I struggle to understand how they didn't test this stuff. Now, like I said, Shao Kahn's not a bad character. You know, I use him. I think he's good. It's just, I don't think... I use this term kind of lightly because I think everything is brain dead in Mortal Kombat, to be honest with you. But you kind of do have to engage a little bit more with them. With Baraka and Kenshi and those guys, you're kind of just on autopilot. The character's killing your opponent for you. So I don't think the game is very balanced. And it's not so much that you can't win, because I'm doing fine with Shao Kahn. It's that it's just the string implementation, like the way strings work, the way projectiles work, the lopsided nature and the way defensive and offensive mechanics work is bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. I actually do think that the up block punish with throws was a pretty good, design, because what you get from up block is pretty good. I don't have an issue with up block, but there's so many issues with the system here and there. Now, not to mention, this game is buggy as shit, and I ain't talking about the clown. This game is so buggy. I watched someone lose a tournament final match because Sub-Zero flew through the character. When he's supposed to come out and shoulder barge you, he just went right through it. Imagine being in the grand finals of a tournament like my man was, and you've got, the match was his. If Sub-Zero had hit the guy, he would have died. It wasn't one of those things where, oh, it could have gone either way. No, the game was over. And he called out Sub-Zero. Fuck, man. Fucking tired, bro. Calls out Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero flies through.
Oh my god! He's gone! Whoa! Whoa! Where'd he go? Whoa! 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 Where did he go? Where did he...
And that's just one bug. I mean, the online itself is a mess. It's an absolute mess. Why is it when I, who has my Ethernet cable plugged into my PlayStation, so I'm wired, has to deal with people that are doing Wi-Fi? They're doing Wi-Fi up. Why? You take me to the screen where it says ready, like I have a fucking choice. But then sometimes I do have a choice, and I just can't figure out the logic behind it. And it says disconnected now will negatively affect your rank. Great, so I'm locked in to a fucking Wi-Fi player. Why do you do this? Why? I don't understand. If I don't want to fight someone, let me press circle. Or at least let me filter it so I only get Ethernet people, so it's not like I'm ducking matches. I ain't got a problem fighting somebody that's beaten my ass 100 times. I have a serious problem with fighting somebody and fighting the internet at the same time. Okay, fighting one character on this game is hard enough, let alone with their characters, let alone with the internet lagging. How did you fumble this bag? And then on top of the online being shit, and the gameplay being generally just buggy. God, my mind went blank. What was I gonna say? God damn it. Oh, that's it. There's no crossplay. There's no crossplay. You rushed this game out, no crossplay. Now I know you said you're bringing it out, but that's just not good enough. If you had to delay this game so it works properly, delay the game so it works properly. Like, for Christ's sake, I don't know what the fuck this is. And again, I don't want nobody in the comment section, oh, you're salty. Bro, I'm not salty, okay? Okay, well, actually, I am salty, but I'm not salty for the reasons that you think I am. I'm not salty because I'm getting my ass whooped, although I have taken some molly whoppings. I'm not salty for that, okay? I'm getting by just fine with Shao Kahn. Or General Khan, whatever his stupid name is now. I am just disappointed with the game. NRS's design philosophy is just weird to me. It feels like what they do is they go into the office and they're like, right, we're going to make a cinematic, like this Netflix show, and we're going to put it in video game form. And then we're going to build the gameplay. And to me, it feels like I would rather sacrifice story mode in Mortal Kombat for actual good gameplay. It's been so long since we've played, well, so at least since I've played a Mortal Kombat game, I've been genuinely excited. And do you want to know how long it's been? About 10 years since MKX. MKX was the last time I was genuinely excited. I'm so put off by this game. I'm so disappointed in it. It is such an L. And there's just other things like with this game that are just weird. Like they promised Johnny Cage as a cameo character, and now we're getting Janet Cage. Who the fuck asked for Janet Cage? Who wants that? I know you're woke over there and you're all inclusive, but Jesus Christ, guys, you sold a combat thing or whatever you call it, a season pass to people with Johnny Cage on it, and now we're getting Janet Cage. Are you shitting me? Don't do shit like that. I mean, I swear you can get taken to court for shit like that. I mean, not that I'm going to take you to court, I ain't got the fucking energy, but don't advertise something and not bring it out. Now, Omni-Man looks cool. Actually, before I get to Omni-Man, the cameo system in this game is absolute dog shit. It was implemented so poorly. When I saw cameos initially, I was like, lol, this is going to be crap. But then I changed my mind. Now I'm right back where I was in the beginning. Cameos are just, what NRS did is they were like, right, we got all these characters that they're not going to be playable fighters for the most part. There's going to be a couple exceptions. Let's just give them moves and see what happens. Because there's no way you didn't test this. There's no way you tested it. If you tell me you test this, I've got to think that you're retarded. You have to be. You have to. There's no way you tested. There's no way there was extensive testing done to this game, and it came out like this with the cameos. There's no way. It's a joke. I don't know how else to put it. Now, for a casual player, yeah, this is a lot of fun because they don't understand the ins and outs of a fighting game at intermediate to high level. But for people that are like trying to get invested in this game, yeah, you might be doing well with your character. I mean, I had a great day today online. I went on like a 10-game win streak. You know, it was great. I'm talking objectively. This is a frustrating experience for somebody that is trying to get good at the game. You can say whatever you want. You can make any concessions that you want. The way things work in this game don't even make sense within its own realms. It just doesn't. How can you have a string that grants you so much, and at the end of the string, it's still your turn? This whole down one business, they need to think of something else, man. Like the next Mortal Kombat game, they need to get away from this 2D shit. Go back to 3D. That's the last time your games were actually proper sick. And I know people would disagree with that assessment. I'm sorry, man. These new Mortal Kombat games, they're trying to be competitive, right? They're trying to. You can see they're made with the like idea that they're going to be played at EVO. I don't know if that's what's making you fumble the bag, but you are fumbling the bag pretty hard. Like it's pretty shocking. And I gave this game a lot of praise when it came out because initially when you play it, like, oh cool, you know, tag system, kind of tag system, visually very appealing. You know, it's got very bright and colorful. I'm like, cool, you know, they've made an effort, but like the video title says, all flash, no substance. NRS are fantastic at making a game look like it's blockbuster Netflix quality, but when it comes down to it, this shit belongs on Shutter when it's discounted. Like, this is not a good tournament fighting game. The shit in Smash Brothers makes more sense than this game. It's a dud. I'm sorry, it's a dud. Now, thank God Tekken is around the corner. And to be honest with you, thank God that Ultimate Ninja Storm is coming out as well, because I'd rather play that than this. Now, I've already recorded a ton of content for this game. Probably enough to take me well into November, likely December. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it for a little bit more. I'm gonna try out Omni-Man. I'm gonna upload a few more matches to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna keep it running up until when Tekken comes out. And I'm pretty sure when Tekken comes out, that is the last you're gonna see of me on this game. At least consistently. Maybe things might change with DLC. Maybe they'll make the game a little bit better. But for now, to me, this is a big L. A big L. You have created a game that makes people that would otherwise be incompetent at fighting games feel powerful. Now, for casual players, that's fan-fucking-tastic. But I'm sorry, the mind-numbing stagger, safe string, stagger, call my Cameo to protect me, stagger, and then you didn't even bother fucking like fixing the Cameo timers. Like, you have Cyrax that covers people for doing unsafe shit, that extends combos, that gives a lot of damage, and his Cameo's just coming back like no tomorrow. Like, what were you thinking, NRS? What the hell were you thinking? You're actually mad. You sit there on that couch, on your high horse, like you done something. Now, yeah, you're gonna make money from this game. Of course you are. It's Mortal Kombat. I can't see it not selling like 10 million copies. But guys, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm pretty sure I can make a better balanced game than this. Give me the right resources. At the very least, call me into the office. I'll be able to tell you, yo, don't do that, and don't do that. What the hell are you doing? Or at the very least, I would like to hear your explanation as to why you think. I mean, guys, ask yourself this. Mortal Kombat 11 died a gruesome death, okay? And it was sad to see it go out like that. People stopped playing that game because it was frustrating. They are frustrating games to play. When you play Tekken, right? Or Street Fighter, and you lose, you can look back at that and you can be like, right, this is where I went wrong and this is where I went wrong, and this, I could have done this here and I could have done that here. But not with fucking Mortal Kombat. There are certain situations where you're like, yeah, I was fucked. I was fucked. There was nothing that could have been done there. Whether that be because of chip, whether that be because it's just a string that is unpunishable with gaps that are so tiny that, you know, it would be a madman to even attempt it, given that if you fuck it up, then you can't break her. I don't know, guys. And then on top of that, it feels like a lazy attempt at gameplay. Like, the gameplay is different enough from MK11 for me to enjoy it, but not different enough for me to say this is a whole new game. I don't know if that makes sense. If you took out the Cameo system, the actual like fight doesn't, like, it's not that much of a big difference. I mean, it's a bit faster, don't get me wrong, and breakers have come back. It's definitely a step in the right direction, but it feels like tippy toes. I don't feel like you took a full step. This does feel like, I ain't gonna say 11.5, I'm gonna say 11.8. This feels like MK 11.8. It doesn't feel like you've made a new game from the ground up. I mean, look, even the Fatal Blow system works the same. And yeah, it looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. The game's absolutely stunning. The best fighting game on the market right now in terms of looks. But like I said, all flash, no substance. Now, I've probably forgotten to cover some things because this is unscripted, as you can probably hear. And like, there's just things that piss me off on the daily. But if you enjoyed the video and you've got any gripes with the game, comment in the comment section below. Maybe I'll do a follow-up to this. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay in the background. As you can see in the game, this is not me being salty, okay? Like I said, I'm doing just fine. This is just me being objective. I'm not bought and sold by NRS, and I don't particularly care about hurting anyone's feelings that play this game. I'm just telling you how I feel about this game. And that's it, guys. So I hope you're all safe. Maybe you're enjoying the game, and that's great. You're a fucking weirdo if you are, but here we are. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Next time you see an upload, it might be Tekken actually, because the beta is actually live. Anyways, guys, peace.